What's going on, guys? My name is Joey Speaks, and this is Everyday People, the podcast. Today I have on the show my man Ramon Tovar. I've been friends with Ramon Tovar since elementary school. We went to elementary school. We went to two different junior high schools, but then we also went to the same high school together, Stratton Street School and Poly High School. So we've been friends since we were like 8, 9, 10 years old, something like that, yeah?
We were in the same fourth grade. I moved here from LA. What was that, 79, 80?
Something like that, yeah. Was it Mrs. Games class?
No, Miss Goodrow.
Miss Goodrow. Oh man. Yeah. That was a long time ago, man.
Yeah,
that was a long time ago. Yeah. So like I said, we grew up together. Same elementary school, same high school, and then so when I was in high school, I went to Granada Hills High School my 10th grade year and the first semester of 11th, and I came back over to Poly in the middle of my 11th grade year. And so you used to wrestle in high school, right?
I wrestled, yes, all 3 years in high school.
Oh yeah.
I think he went to the big wrestling meet in the sky, but my coach was Al Richards at Poly High School.
Yeah. Well, what division did you wrestle in?
Believe it or not, I started off at 140. Back then it was like 146, 148. And then in my senior year, I wrestled at 152.
Okay. All right. So now, did you guys cut weight in high school the way that, from what I love MMA. I love watching, like all different types of, fighting sports. And man, like the way that wrestlers cut weight and the things that they do, like did you guys cut weight like that in high school?
I know we'll talk about it later, but
Yeah.
wrestling has changed a lot in 35 years I wrestled, I wrestled. But yeah, I was a weight cutter.
Okay.
And I highly don't recommend that to anyone.
It's tough.
Those guys, the MMA guys or those All-Americans in college, they're pros at cutting weight. So those guys are walking around. So a guy who wrestles at 154 is probably after his duel on Saturday or Friday, Monday morning he's probably walking around at 165, 170. And then 2 days before his duel, the Iowa kid who has a duel at Wisconsin, he's cutting, and he cuts it in 2 days, no problem.
It's crazy.
So I was a cutter, and I don't recommend to anyone. But yeah, I cut lots of weight.
Okay, cool. And so when you were wrestling in high school, did you play any other sports, or were you just a wrestler?
I played some football.
Yeah.
I love football. I played football for a few years, and I was a lineman, a center. I like to fight, Joey. I was that kid. Remember we'd wrestle around and all that.
Yeah.
Ever since I was a little kid, I was like that, and so I played center and everything like that, and I like to wrestle.
Like to mix it up.
Yeah, I liked it.
Right on. Which did you like more, wrestling or football?
Wrestling.
Yeah.
Wrestling was my. I always tell the kids I coach. No. I tell them wrestling is my love, and then later we'll talk about it. But it's weightlifting. That's my babe. That's like my true love.
Got it. So yeah, that's funny. So like I always talk about football as my hot girlfriend and baseball as my wife. That's my everything. But I love me some football though. Football
is boo, but wrestling is my boo. That's my baby, right? But
yeah.
Weightlifting is my wife. We're forever, to death do us part.
Got you. And we're going to talk about that here in a minute too. All right, so you wrestled in high school, and then and you coach now, right?
I do, sir.
So tell me about that. Tell me about coaching.
I coach at Van Nuys High School. I been coaching there, 13 years now. I and another coach, we started it. Well, we resurrected it. It was a program in the 70s and 80s, and then it was cut. I ironically started wrestling at Van Nuys. They had a kids program, so when I went to Madison, I heard about a little kids club up at Van Nuys.
Okay.
And so I would go there and I'd wrestle. I also heard it my little time I played for the East Valley Trojans.
East Valley Trojans. Damn, I haven't heard that in a long time.
And they practiced at Van Nuys.
Okay.
They practiced at Van Nuys in the football field.
Okay.
And so I did that, and I loved wrestling the moment I stepped on the mat. So now I wrestle. I've been coaching 13 years. We resurrected the program. We've had our fair share of success. We've had several kids qualified at the state meet.
Nice.
We've had many Van Nuys wrestles, or our conference is CIF.
Okay. Really?
CIF, yeah, you know what CIF, California.
Yeah.
So CIF, but we are LA City section.
Got it. Okay.
And we've had a lot of CIF placers and champions. But I think I was telling you before this, when COVID hit, it devastated our program, as it did many CIF schools all around.
Yeah.
And so the last 2-3 years, I've kind of been on my own, and I've been resurrecting it. But I got some more kids have come in. I got a fabulous assistant coach, man. He's a Southern section guy. Wrestled. If he ever listens to this podcast, he's just going to kind of give me a dirty look.
Hopefully he does.
But I think he wrestled. He wrestled in Southern section. I know that, and I want to say he wrestled up there in Thousand Oaks, Rio Mesa, in that area up there.
Okay. Right on. Okay. So, I was over at Ramon's house one day. Actually, you gave me a piece of equipment, a hamstring and lower back stretch machine. Thank you, by the way. I know I thanked you before, but yeah, it's awesome.
Oh, hey, remind me, Matt.
Yeah.
I got another piece of equipment. I want to know if you want to buy it.
Yeah, I think I'll be interested.
Oh, we'll talk about it.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm over at Ramon's house, and just a couple of kids just show up, and they want to work out at your home gym. And oh my God, you should see this guy's garage gym, his home gym. I mean, it is. You have all Rogue stuff, right? Go ahead and brag. Don't.
No,
be
I am.
modest.
I am. But something about people with home gyms I've learned as of being on social media and seeing a lot of home gyms.
Yeah.
But many of us, as soon as we start buying home gym equipment, we kind of stay within the same ecosystem. So I'm totally a Rogue guy with a couple of Titan things thrown in it. But I'm devoted to Rogue.
Rogue is solid. I mean, Rogue is solid. Anyway, this guy's gym, man. I mean, it has everything. It has everything. Powerlifting, just any kind of lifting that you want to do. It's awesome. It's awesome. So yeah. So I'm over at Ramon's house, and 3 kids show up, and they're like, "Hey, coach, can we get a workout?" And you're like, "Yeah." And to me, that's so cool because, it shows how you get along with your kids. You know what I mean? They literally are coming over to your house just say, "Hey, coach, can we come get a workout at your house?" You know what I'm saying? I don't think that happens everywhere. And it really showed me, I knew who you were before that, but it really showed me who you were as a coach and as an influencer, as opposed to just the guy who I knew growing up, who I knew growing up. And so it was really cool for me to see that. Yeah.
I sometimes use it as an incentive.
Yeah.
I'll go, "Hey man, if you're gonna come to my gym, I only want serious people there. But if you're gonna come in there and do 1-arm curls for an hour and we're gonna shoot the breeze, no, I don't want you sneaking up my gym."
Right on. Excuse me. All right, so yeah, his garage gym, his home gym is just awesome. All right, so let's talk about. So Ramon is a power lifter. And so when you are into fitness, there are so many different ways to be able to train. Powerlifting is much different than just typical weight training. And obviously you're always lifting weights, but there's like there's a specific way that you go about it. So so you were telling me that so powerlifting is your wife, it's your love. So tell me about how you got into powerlifting and what does it do for you, you the person?
I got into powerlifting. I was a big CrossFitter for years, and so since we're using all these comparisons and these metaphors.
Okay.
By the way, I'm an English teacher, so we're using all these metaphors. My wife and all that.
Yeah.
So CrossFit is my hot side piece. Every once in a while, but she's some kind of little toxic.
Right.
But and I'll go away for a year. But sometimes she just draws me back.
But you always come back. Gotcha.
But yeah, I was into CrossFit for years, and then you know what? I just I started seeing some guys lifting big weights, and you know what? I started seeing some guys that were benching at the box that I used to work out at. It's not there anymore. It was called Life Fitness in Canoga Park.
Okay.
And that was a CrossFit box. And the way they were benching and everything, and I started talking to them, and then they connected me with the, gosh, it just killed me, Mrs. Mendelson. And Mendelson is the wife of Scott Mendelson, a big power lifter.
Oh, okay.
And I trained with Scott Mendelson for a while, too. So both Mendelsons.
That must have been intense.
Yeah, no, Scott Mendelson. Hands down, they know their shit.
Oh,
Can
yeah.
I say that?
Yeah. So yeah. Say whatever you want to say. Say whatever you want to say.
And so I trained with Miss Mendelson, and that was my coach.
Okay.
She taught me the whole thing of engage the lats, bring in. You know what? The first thing I showed her, I was so happy. I PR'd. I had like a 305 bench press.
Okay.
And I was so happy. I showed her, and she goes, "Wow, you're really strong with such shitty technique."
That backhanded compliment. Yeah.
So she trained me. So I got into, and I loved it. I was doing, I tried the ollie lifting.
Okay.
And man, that gets you ripped, but I'm just not good. You know what, man? I'm sure there's a sport. What sport did you try that you go, okay, I'm not good at it? It's fun, but I'm just not good at it.
Softball. I hit line drives in softball. I can never hit in softball the way that I hit in baseball. I can't explain it. But I would play softball on with the work team or whatever, and I mean I was good, but like I wasn't good the way that I thought I should have been. So yeah, softball was I hated it. I loved hanging out with the guys, but like I hated softball because I just wasn't as good as I wanted to be.
Yeah, and so that was it. I love ollie lifting. I love the technique, and if we threw on some nice some light plates in here, I get a little workout, but when it gets serious and especially like for CrossFit, you have to know how to ollie lift. I sucked at it. So powerlifting was like, okay, I could get, and it was like closer to the the weightlifting or bodybuilding I did before that, or when I first started working out at Gold's in North Hollywood.
Oh, you worked out there?
Yeah, I used to work out. That was my gym, man. I worked out off and on. Now that I have a home gym, I don't go.
I would, if I had your gym, I wouldn't go anywhere. Kidding me?
But I still do go every once in a while. Drop into a gym, not a competitor, but it's Iron Pile. And Iron Pile is over in the Valley in Van Nuys. Okay. And they're like a partner of Valley CrossFit.
Okay.
And so I'll go over there sometimes and shoot the breeze with the guys at Iron Pile.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got into that through CrossFit, and man, I loved it ever since, because that's like, yeah, man, that's the kind of lifting that you see Arnold, my idols, Arnold, Franco Columbo.
Yeah. Frank Zane.
They were lifting.
Yeah, I got you. Okay. All right, so I know that you were competing at one. Are you still competing?
You know what, Coach? I took your advice about something, so I was gonna compete again.
Okay.
But I want to compete at 220, man. And so I remember once you said you need to start when I was going to compete once a while back. And he goes, hey, man, if you're going to compete at that weight, you need to start dropping the weight now. When I was 6 months out.
Yeah.
Because he goes, you kind of basically said you're not a wrestler anymore. Try to cut, 20 pounds in 3 weeks.
It's possible, but it's tough, though.
Yeah.
It's possible, but it's tough.
And so so what I've been doing is I've been cutting out. I want to compete again in March, April. So I got up kind of real big, Coach.
You're looking big right now, man. You're looking solid.
Oh, well, thank you. But I got up. It was more cheeseburgers and Disneyland cookies, right? And
I saw your Disneyland post. Those were pretty cool. Yeah.
I'm also an annual pass holder too.
At Disneyland?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's my other thing.
All right.
I'm looking for a woman, man, who has an annual pass, and man.
Any ladies out there with an annual Disneyland pass? Talk to Ramon over here.
And so yeah, what was I saying? What I'm trying to do now is before I sign up for an event, I want to at least be 5 pounds out.
I love that. I know that cutting weight is a part of a lot of sports. I totally get that. In my mind, so now I've never competed in a bodybuilding competition or powerlifting or anything like that. But when I have cut weight, and I've cut weight the correct way, the incorrect way, I've done it all ways, like most people have. Man, I'm weak. It's not just being weak; it's depleted, and there's a difference. When you're weak, everyone has a bad day. Everyone has a shitty day every once in a while. But when you're depleted, you feel like you can't defend yourself sometimes. It's such a terrible feeling. I cannot understand how the MMA fighters and the wrestlers, how you guys do it. It is, if you have ever cut weight and you've cut weight drastically really fast, remember how you feel. Now imagine you have to go fight or wrestle or lift heavy weights when you feel like that. It's something that so when I'm coaching, if I'm coaching somebody, I want to get down to around the weight that you're going to be competing at as soon as possible so you get used to it, as opposed to dropping it so fast, and then you're like, okay, I hit the weight, but now am I my best? Because when it comes to competition, you're in it to win. And of course, some people are in it just to compete, just to kind of do a lifelong thing, a bucket list type thing. But you're not, you're in it to win it. You know what I'm saying? So, and not just for you, but for anyone who, if it was me, if it was you, if it was anyone who I was be coaching, I would want to get down, not super fast at the very beginning, but much more aggressive than your typical, weight loss cut.
I'm right now at a goal where I'm dropping a pound a week.
That's good.
I'm trying to drop a pound a week. And so my heaviest, in May, I was at 246.
Okay.
And now I'm back down to 234.
Oh, and you want to get to 220 by March?
Yeah. But I gave myself some slack, and I'm not a professional power lifter or anything. Not like those MMA guys who, sign a contract and you need to be weight, and if you're not at weight, you're going to forfeit millions of dollars.
Yeah. They have to. If you don't make weight, they have to give up 35% of their purse.
Yeah.
And they still are probably going to fight, but now they're going to make 35% less.
Yeah, so that's not my thing.
Yeah.
And look, I just turned 55.
Really?
I just turned 55.
Looking good, man.
Thank you, man.
Looking good.
If I could give a plug, weightlifting, and Coach will agree, it is the fountain of youth.
100%.
And I speak to the brothers out there, men, you got to lift weights. Everything, it'll cure all your ills. Listen to this man. Weightlifting, you're having problems with things getting going, you feel sluggish, whatever. And I'm not saying you have to power lift and, break records and everything, but, get into Coach's gym or things like that. I cannot tell you, weightlifting, a lot of people will tell me you look so young. like you said today, right? Or you said to me before, you're really that age? People will tell me they're in my 40s or whatever.
Yeah.
I attribute it all to, well, I'm sober, I meditate, and lifting.
Yeah. So, you know, like, and I'm going to take that a step further, not just for the men, but for women, for everybody. You know, like, our bodies are meant to move. They're just, when you, I'm about a year and a half younger than you. I'm 53. I'll be 54 in November. So I was a year ahead in school. I started a year early. So I think that, so for me, whether I've been a trainer or training or, in my initial podcast, I told you guys how, I was 248 pounds, is the biggest I ever been. And, like, when you stop, your body will attack you. I firmly believe that. It has happened to me. All the people who I know, when they're not doing anything, they're telling me about these little aches and pains that they don't have to be there. Don't get me wrong. As we get older, things are going to change. And that's just the way that it is. And it is what it is. But man, like, as long as we're here, like, I'm going to fight it. I'm not fooling myself. Unfortunately, we're all going to die, right? We're all not going to be here one day. But until then, like, I'm going to try to get it. And me trying to get it, you trying to get it, you trying to get it is going to help you live a healthier life where you're going to feel better. And man, like, it sucks waking up every morning and not being able to, like, you wake up and you're like, holy shit, like, man, my back hurts, my knees hurt, my shoulder hurts. Like, it's a way of life. When you are not in shape, it is a way of life. And there's a simple fix. Get your ass in the gym. Go walk the track. Like, I don't care what you do something. So, like, man, that's such a good point. I appreciate you saying that. And like I said, it's not just us guys, but women. Anyone who tells you that you are going to get big and buff and bulky from lifting weights, like, they don't know what they're talking about. There's so much stuff that goes into putting on size, getting big and bulky, because it's not just lifting, it's eating. It's not just lifting and eating, it's your cardio. It's the three-piece combination. I told you about this last podcast. Diet's always on top, and then depending on what your goal is, it's cardio and weights or weights and cardio. But you're not going to get bulky from lifting weights. You're only going to get strong. You're only going to get strong. Now, if you are lifting weights incorrectly, you're probably going to get hurt. If you're lifting weights and you are not sure what you're doing and you're just lifting just to be lifting, then your body's not going to look the way that you want it to. So when you are training, you have to have a goal. Like, this man's goal is to get as strong. And, so in powerlifting, there's three events, lifts, right? So tell me those three events.
Depending on what there's lots of powerlifting federation. Mm-hmm. But the three main events are the bench press, deadlift, and the squat. Okay.
And so when someone says, you're strong or he's strong or like I feel strong. So when you're talking about like strongman stuff, those are the three lifts that are considered to make you strong compared to, let's say, like you can bicep curl 105 pounds. That's strong, but that's not where you would be comparing your strength in like a strongman competition, right?
Oh, and then there's strongman.
Yeah.
And I've been dabbling in that too.
Really?
I've been dabbling in strongman.
So strongman, you've probably seen strongman competitions on ESPN and just like other like Fox and stuff like that, like where they pick up like a like a boulder that's like 250 pounds. Yeah, the stuff they do, like they squat refrigerators, they leg press cars, and like it's crazy stuff. That's powerlifting. This is just another form of it, right?
It's kind of we could get all technical, but it's like the difference between wrestling and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Got it.
Although they're very closely related, they're very, very different.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense. Got it. Okay, so tell me about your mindset when it comes to powerlifting. So like when I train, so it's interesting. So his home gym is so awesome, and then I said, if I had your home gym, I would never work out anywhere else. I have my own gym, and I like to go to other gyms just to get out of here. I'm here all day. You know what I mean? Like I'm training my clients, I'm doing things. And so like every once in a while, I have to get out of here. And this is my place. I love this place. But like I have to get out of here, and I put my headphones on, I put my music up as loud as I can take it, and then I go to LA Fitness or 24 Hour Fitness or wherever I go, and I literally feel alone in a room full of people. And that's that's where I thrive when I'm in a gym. So like what is your mentality or your mindset about powerlifting?
Kind of simple, coach. It's I want to be the strongest fucking old man in the room.
Got it. I like that. I like that.
And you know what? I want to look good. Okay, so again, I speak just for men. I can't speak for women in this one.
Yeah.
But again, I'm single, and
Ramon's ready for you, ladies. Ramon is ready for you, ladies.
and but you know what, man? At my age, and even if I was married, if I was still married, when I was married, I still want to look good naked for my wife.
Sure.
I want to look good. I want to feel good, like you said.
Yeah.
I don't want to get up, and you being a ball player and everything, like we're both ball players and all that, man. You know, you take your licks over the years.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure, even though you're a fit man, you still kind of go.
Of course.
The wear and tear.
100%, man. The tread on these tires. And specific, for sure.
But yeah, no, my mindset is I want to be strong. I want to look good, and that's how I train. And I train heavy.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're at the regiment question yet, or can I go?
Say whatever you want to do, man.
So I either, depending on where I am, but right now I do a lot of 5-3-1 kind of approach to it.
So can you explain that? Because everyone does not know what that means.
So any guys out, and men and women, and by the way, ladies, powerlifting is also for women, and there are some beast women out there just handling it out there in the powerlifting world.
Absolutely.
And I see them, and they're putting up big numbers, right? But a 5-3-1 regimen is basically it's a progressive overload over 4 weeks. Your first week is a 5x5, so you're going to do 1 week, and you're only doing, it's just your primary lifts. So for powerlifting, it's your 3. I add 1 because my personal belief is that the overhead press is very important to that bench.
Yeah. It's overhead press is a great exercise to accent those 3 power for sure. Absolutely, for sure.
So I add overhead press. So the first week is a 5x5, and you're doing it the percentages off of your max. So for example,
and so real quick, so a 5x5 basically is 5 sets of 5 reps.
Yes.
So he's going to talk to you about the percentages of weight, but a 5x5, a 3x3, a 2x2, whatever it is, that just means you're doing 5 sets of an exercise for 5 reps each. That's and so I know that a lot of terms that we're going to talk about, like we know. I want to make sure that the people who
My bad, coach.
No, that's okay. Yeah, go ahead.
So so the first week 5x5, and you're doing a percentages, right? So your first set is 60, 70, 80% is your third set
Of your max.
Okay. The next week is 3x3.
Yep.
And then I think you go up 5 percentage points. 75, 85, 95.
Okay.
Or 90. So I think it's 90. Something like that. Mm-hmm. And then your third week is 5-3-1. So 5 sets at 70, 3 sets at I think it's 85. I have it on my board at home. And then your third is 1. You're going to go for your 1 rep max. So theoretically, and you want to get to like 95, or you get a 1 rep max.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. So those are, and so how much time do you take in between sets? And you actually, before I even ask you that, so do you do that for all 3 of your lifts? Do you do the 5x5, 3x3? So every day for every day that you train, are you doing your bench press, your squats, and your deadlifts with that same format, or do you do 1 per day?
I do 1, and so like I say, if today I was working squats, so I only really train, my primary lift is squats.
Okay.
But then I'll do maybe a couple of accessories depending on how hard I go.
Got it.
And so I'll do like an accessory and.
All right, so you were talking about doing squats as your main move, and then you do some accessories, and you have that leg curl machine.
Yeah, so I do it's another plug for Rogue. So, in my garage gym, my space is limited.
Okay.
Even though I've crammed it, And you probably have heard me, Coach, text you. I go, I'm done buying equipment. I'm not going to buy.
I think I've seen that text quite a few times.
And then you know what Coach does? He replies with, "Sure."
Yeah. So what's that piece of equipment you're talking about?
It's a West Side hyper curl, and it's really good because in the one I have, it folds out, so you could store it.
Okay.
So anyway, I'll do that, and some good old fashioned maybe Romania deadlifts.
Okay.
And and then I have a belt squat, a Rhino belt squat.
I love that machine.
That is beautiful.
How's that on your back, on your lower back? Because the belt is right there on your lower back, right?
Okay, yeah. You know what? A couple of weeks, man. That's why I slowed down in my training over the summer. Okay. Because, I got a PR this summer on my deadlift.
What'd you get?
470.
470?
I got a 470.
Damn. 470-pound deadlift. Let me repeat. 470-pound deadlift. That's awesome, man. Nice. Very nice.
And I felt it.
In your back?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't throw. You of all people know what it means to throw your back.
100%.
So it was more of just like my back, like basically gave me its middle finger. It's like, okay, you're not going to deadlift for a little while.
Yeah. Back off, dog. Back off.
So, but I wanted to keep going, right? So you know what? I couldn't do squats to save my life, even just like real low weight.
Yeah.
But I had my belt squat, and I just, it's right there.
Right.
And the belt squat takes all that pressure off your back.
Nice. Okay.
And you can really load up on it.
Nice. So I've used that. So when I deadlift and when I squat, because of my knee and my hip, I do not go heavy. That's not in the cards for me at all. When I have deadlifted heavy, my hip is sore for like a week or two. When I squat heavy, and my heavy is much different than your heavy, my knee gets sore. So like it's not in the cards for me. And here at my gym, I do not train people for powerlifting. Like, now, if you were at my gym, it would be different because you're a different guy, right? So there are a couple of people who I would train like that, and I would allow to go heavier. But for your everyday person, maxing out and getting PRs is not, it's not, there's too much risk for the reward unless it is what you're doing, like what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? So so I want to make sure that you guys understand this. So Ramon's not he's not your everyday guy, even though this is everyday people. He's not your everyday guy. When you're pulling 475 pounds, like that is not normal. So because it is what you do, the risk going into it, right? As opposed to someone who's just coming here to train with me, like last thing I want them to do is be walking out here limping and can't work out for another month or so. And, and then they're affected at their job, and because it's not their goal. You know what I mean? Their goal is just to basically, come in here, get fit, get strong, but like not what you're trying to do. And that's where you need to know what your goals are. That is exactly that's why you need to know what your goals are. I'm sorry, go ahead.
A quick digression. My ex-girlfriend, Patricia, she came to support me at my last powerlifting meet. Okay. And, she was watching us all, do the competition. And I went up to her to say, to talk to her, and she just looked at me and she goes, "You guys all look like you're in so much pain." and I said to her, "Yeah, baby, we're in a hell of a lot of pain right now."
But there's pleasure in the pain.
Oh no, that there's, and yeah, Coach is right. Yeah, there is you have to be a little off your rocker to do powerlifting.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, in any sport. And I don't care what the sport is. It's not if you're going to get hurt, it's when.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not, it's when and what's the severity. So, like, I think that for people who are in collision sports or contact sports or in powerlifting, something like that, like you kind of, it's a little bit more than not minding getting hurt or not minding the pain, but you kind of got to like it a little bit.
Hey, Coach, I've been wanting to ask you this like for over 35 years.
35 years. This is okay.
There was a rumor that your championship game at Dodger Stadium,
Yes.
there was a rumor that you were questionable about playing because they said that you hurt your knee. Was that true?
No. Oh no.
No,
No, that's
Okay,
I never heard that.
There was a rumor that there was a couple of guys hurt on the team, and they go, "Yeah, I heard Joey was hurt. He hurt his knee somewhere." Like
No.
yeah.
No, I never heard that before.
Yeah.
So long story short, guys. So in 12th grade at Poly, we had a great baseball team.
The best.
Our team, man, like I remember those days like it was literally yesterday. I think we only lost like 3 games during the regular season. Long story short, we had a great team. We ended up getting to the city championship against Canoga Park. We lost that game 5-4. Great game. This fool Danny Gill hit one that's still going. He literally hit a home run. This ball either short hopped or actually hit the back of the bullpen at Dodger. I mean, like Danny Gill was great. Anyway, we had so many great players on our team. And I'm going to be having a podcast about that with some of the guys.
Oh, man.
I'm going to try to get some of the guys, Don Senegal, my brother. But yeah, so no, I never heard that.
There was and then your Farmer, the pitcher.
Farmer.
A blonde kid. They used to call him Farmer. He was like a freshman, a 10th grader.
At Dodger Stadium?
Yeah, you had a 10th grader or something, and they used to call him. His nickname was Farmer.
I don't remember. What?
Yeah, you did.
I'm sure I know his name. I don't remember him by Farmer though. I know. Greg. We had Nick Limberopoulos start the game. Yeah. Okay. So he was
nickname was Farmer.
Okay.
And there was a lot of rumors going around that there was like a bunch of people hurt. And the Farmer threw out his arm.
No, man. No.
And there were rumors, and
That's so interesting. How come you never asked me that before?
it just like it just went by. But there was like that rumor, like, yeah, how do you think we'll do, man? I'm gonna give a props to coach, but the school was on fire that week, right before we were going, and there was all a buzz, and I don't think there was. I think like really the school showed up for that.
Yeah.
We all showed up. Even the kid who, even the nerdy kids who hid in the corner and didn't talk to anyone, they went to that game.
So our team was so good. Like, I mean, we used to dominate fools. Like, we were so good, and so for baseball, like football is always the big sport in high school or in pretty much any school. But like, man, like at our games at Poly, man, like there was standing room only, and they were standing down the right field line left. Like it was, like we were must see TV. That's for sure. Like we were awesome. And so when we got to Dodger Stadium to play Canoga Park, and so just to set the record straight, I was not hurt. There was nothing wrong with me. We were hitting on all cylinders. The only thing that we did not have, and Nick Limberopoulos was a great pitcher. Greg Nealon was our ace.
Greg Lee?
Greg Nealon.
No.
He's a lefty.
The blonde kid.
Maybe dirty blonde, but he wasn't blonde.
There was a kid. His nickname was Farmer, and I remember they were called Farmer. The papers called him Farmer. Okay, so here's another blast from the past. All of us, including myself, I wasn't that great of a baseball player, but we all played at San Val.
Yep. San Val, yeah, okay. Yeah. Give it to me. Come on.
Yeah, and there was, again, you know how the tea gets spread around somewhere in a big place like a high school?
Yeah.
Take it from a high school teacher?
Yeah.
Yeah, we thought that, and it was like all kinds of rumors and this guy broke up with his girlfriend, and he's not going to be able to play.
All the
Joey's
typical
hurt.
bullshit. Yeah. No, so honestly, Canoga Park, they beat us. It was a good game. They beat us 5-4.
I cried, bro. We were all crying.
It was so I So I'll tell you something I haven't told many people. So I take responsibility for that loss. So my senior year, I think that I had a hit in every game. I had at least one hit in every game except for the game at Dodger Stadium. I was leadoff hitter, and I take responsibility because it was my job to get the fire started. And that game, I was 0 for 2. I popped up and grounded out and walked. I did some other good stuff, but like I didn't have my best game at the plate. And so for me, it was on me that I didn't do my job. So I took responsibility for that. And honestly, we did not. We have no excuse. They just beat us. They were a good team. They were a good team. They had a guy named Mike Ehrman who got drafted in the second round by the Braves. They had Adam Schulhofer, who was their center fielder. They had Mike Kerber, who I think he got drafted also, or he went to SC. Like it was, we had a couple of guys. Like I got drafted. Danny got a scholarship. We had a couple of guys who went places. So our teams were actually very evenly matched with talent. And it was a good game. We just came out on the wrong side of it, but it was a good game though. And it was an experience I'll never forget. So when it comes to baseball, okay, so when it comes to sports, so I have one team that I claim. I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan. I know. Yeah. I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan. In baseball, I used to love the Yankees because I'm from New York. But then I always loved the Dodgers because I played at Dodger Stadium.
Los Dodgers.
The Dodgers.
Los Dodgers.
And growing up, that's the games I went to. We're from the Valley. We're from the San Fernando Valley. Did you grew up in Sun Valley or North Hollywood?
I grew up in North Hollywood, yeah.
Okay, so Sun Valley and North Hollywood are like brother and sister. Like they're right next to each other. And so where we're from, you went to the Dodger games. You didn't go to the Angel games. And the Angels were garbage back then anyway.
You only went to the Angel games? Because like you, I'm a Yankee fan. And don't get me started on, let me tell you who the Yankees were. And that was, remember Thurman Munson, God rest his soul, Reggie Jackson.
Bucky Dent was my guy. Bucky Dent, that fool.
All those guys, man. Dave Winfield.
Yeah.
So all those guys. So the only time we went to Angel Stadium is when the Yankees were in town.
Right. Yeah, because they did not have interleague play back then. It was just American League against American League. But yeah, so I don't have a team specifically in baseball, but like I said, I always loved the Dodgers because I played there, and then that's where I went to go watch pro games when I was young. So yeah, Dodger Stadium was an interesting experience for us. But man, all the people at my high school, all the people at our high school, we were like a big gang. Like I think that there was like 5,000 people at that game at Dodger Stadium. There was a lot of people there.
You know what, man? I don't want you to go down the nostalgia road, but those, I have good memories of high school, and that was one of the good memories. Even though, it didn't go the way we wanted to. Yeah, that was one of those very few times that we all felt like bonded, like we were all a school, we were all 100%, bonded, 100%, and we cheered together. And I remember that home run when Danny hit it out, we went ecstatic. There were people crying. And then at the end, and we all people we didn't know. I don't know if I could say his name, but remember there was this kid. Okay, last name Duncan.
I love how you're whispering.
Duncan. There was
Coach Duncan.
There was a kid. No, there was a kid. So he was one of the Hesher dudes that There was
Andy Duncan.
I think it was Andy.
Andy Duncan.
And they went, and he was there.
Really?
He was there, and we lost, and you could see him from far away. He was so sad and bummed, and then him and his crew of guys.
Yeah.
They were like you could tell they were having this animated and we were all. But that was a day I remember. We were all united as a school.
That's right. It was. We lost, but it was really, it's a great memory. Unfortunately, like I said, we lost, but it was a great time. It was a great time. And so it's a trip because in the newspaper, when people used to read the newspaper, they had a couple pictures of us. And at the end, they had it was actually a really cool picture. I'm crying like a little bitch. And I think that either Louis Porres used to rake, or I'm not sure if it was Louis or Danny or Donald. I'm not sure. But I was hugging them. And so I had my head like this, and then you could see their face, and you could see the scoreboard right here where it showed the score. And it was a really cool picture. It was just it was a good time. It was a good time, and it was a great experience that not a lot of people can say they played at Dodger Stadium, whether they're in high school or pro or whatever, but it was really cool. It was really cool. Oh, thanks for that. I like that. I never knew that people thought that that I was hurt or anyone else was hurt. That's
I could go
interesting.
on, but like I said, this guy broke up with his girlfriend, so he's all messed up. He's not going to play. This guy's hurt. And I remember one of you was like, yeah, did you hear Joey? He's hurt. He might not play. And I'm like, Joey?
I was good. Just didn't happen that day. All right. Thanks for bringing that up. That was awesome. That was awesome. Okay. So when you got into coaching wrestling, so I know we're kind of jumping around here from powerlifting. We're going to get back to that in a minute. But when you got into coaching wrestling, so like I watch a lot of MMA. My son does Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and like everyone in MMA always talks about the mentality of a wrestler. And I actually have a really good friend of mine who's a client, who's a great friend of mine, and he used to wrestle in high school too. And so we just talk about just the mentality of a wrestler, and like sometimes like a team will take like a stationary bike at the hotel when they're going to be training or when they're going to be wrestling in another school, so they can cut weight and all that kind of stuff. The things that wrestlers do in the room to get ready for a match. Like talk to me about the just the mindset of a wrestler and how you kind of convey that to your kids, when they're going into matches and stuff like that.
So I'll answer it with the story. What's his name? Habib?
Oh yeah, Nurmagomedov?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The greatest fighter of all time, in my opinion.
Okay.
You may disagree.
I disagree, but that's okay. He's up there.
Yeah.
He's up there.
The greatest fighter of all time.
Okay,
so I don't know how, but I had a girl, one of my girls on my wrestling team, she saw a picture of him, and she saw the cauliflower ear. And he has a really, and if you ever look at all those big-time Jordan Burroughs, those guys have really bad cauliflower ears, right? And so, coach, that's terrible. And then I said to her, you'll never get that. And she just looked at me, and I go, because you have to be committed. To get that cauliflower ear, that is a badge of honor, because that has shown the time you've put in. And so wrestling, like that mentality, like you being an athlete, me a powerlifter, you have to be willing to lift hurt. And there are no excuses. You have to be willing to pay that price. And so I tell the girl, I told that girl, and I told some of those guys, you have to be a little obsessed to be the best.
Absolutely. So, quick disclaimer for all of you guys out there. If you ever are going to get into it with somebody and they have a cauliflower ear, you might want to not get into it with that guy or girl. They're tough. It's I'm kind of joking, but I'm kind of not. You see a cauliflower ear or a crooked nose, they've been into it more than a couple of times and they're ready. So just always remember that. That's just a quick disclaimer. Yeah.
A guy I work with, he does Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah.
And he said he saw this young kid come in for his first total white belt.
Yeah.
But then he looked at the kid's ear, and the kid had cauliflower ear, and he's like, "Oh shit, this isn't a white belt." And he goes, he was like a junior college wrestler.
Okay.
Now he was, messing around with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and he goes, "Man, he like pasted the canvas with me for a while, but then he didn't know Jiu-Jitsu, all he knew wrestling. So eventually I was able to get into the Jiu-Jitsu with him.
Right.
But man, for a while he was, handing it to me."
Yeah. So I was telling you before, my son is he's a blue belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and so he has actually been doing much more wrestling recently, and he said that it's changing his game. And so like if you don't know the game of Jiu-Jitsu or wrestling, you kind of just think that they're kind of just on the floor, just wrestling around. There's so much little technique that goes on. Like it's so technical. So Josh, my son, he's really good friends with his professor. So in jiu-jitsu, your teacher or your master they're called professors. This guy, his name is Thiago Silva, and he's going to be on the podcast one day. Monster.
That's his professor?
Yeah, no, not MMA.
Oh,
Yeah. No. But this dude is just he's 25 years old. I'm not even sure what degree black belt. Anyway, he's so technical. He's so at 25 years old. At 25 years old, for him to be able to do what he does. Anyway, so Josh was telling me that with him incorporating more wrestling into his jiu-jitsu, it's changing his game. And so for me, watching him, it's been about 2 years that Josh has been into jiu-jitsu, and his level has quickly. At the beginning, it was not quick. He was coming home beat up, and then the next thing you know, he was like, "Oh, hey, Dad, I did this," or "Hey, I got this guy. I got a blue belt. I got a," and then he's just gotten so much better. It takes time with any sport, obviously, but when you can combine wrestling and jiu-jitsu,
yeah,
it's tough, man. It's tough to deal with.
The great Dan Gable said that once you've wrestled, everything else in life is easy.
I would agree with that. I would agree. Like I've never wrestled. I have seen what I've seen, and I know what I've seen. And wrestlers are a different breed.
And so, yeah, I try to instill that. And when I recruit kids, I go, no offense, but so what sport do you want to do? Well, I'm thinking of playing baseball. And I go, anyone can play baseball, but only few people can call themselves wrestlers.
Yeah, okay.
And I go, and I've had lots of tough kids. I could tell you a few, like Lorraine Deal. Lorraine Deal's shoulder was like, she had it basically taped up for the city finals, and she wrestled city finals. She did not want there was like doctors telling me, maybe you should have surgery, Lorraine. And they're like, she's like, no, tough breed. There was Daniel Marcial, we called Sunshine. He had water in his knee, and he wrestled in the city finals. I mean, you have to be obsessed. But with that said, even if you're just a really good JV kid for a few years, even that will teach us. So a lot of wrestling, I personally teach it's the original martial art. Is
it Greco-Roman wrestling that's the original?
Greco-Roman,
okay.
But then original wrestling, it is the original martial art.
Interesting.
And then, so I wasn't this state champion or anything wrestler in high school, but when I was, let's say for example, when I was in the 82nd Airborne, or when I was going through boot camp, and all of that, man, and I used to think to myself, when we were going on these 20-kilometer road marches and stuff like that, with 80 pounds on their back, or you would say to yourself, man, I survived go drills at Poly. With Val was our captain, and he would take us through these ugly go drills, or what we would do, what we called meat grinders, and where we would just wrestle we wrestle for half an hour, 3-man teams, and we just go, okay, now we're just working only bottom, we're only doing situational wrestling, 20-second live goes, go, and it was just us three going over. You reach a new level of like, I can go past this.
Right. It's your grind. It's your grind.
And you would know as much as me, man, but there comes this, I don't know if it's like a sick thing, but there comes a point where you're like, I like this grind.
Oh, yeah.
I'm tired. My face is stinging from all the cross faces, and my neck, the back of my ears are still ringing from the last time this kid clubbed me, but I'm loving this.
So I have always, this is such a great subject. So when it comes to being great, so I'm only going to talk about sports now, but I think that it translates to everything. You cannot be balanced. And I mean that. So like, I think that when it comes to life, it's great to have a good life balance. But if you are trying to be great or the greatest at something, if If you think you're going to be balanced and go against people who are not, you don't have a chance. And so, I think I've told you guys this before, but if not, I'll tell you now. When I was in high school, I was not into partying. I was not into doing all that, like chasing girls and all that kind of stuff. I was into baseball. And so when my friends were out going to parties and doing things and chasing girls and everything, like I was at the batting cage. Me and my mom and my dad, like we would go to Buddy's Bat-A-Way on a Friday and Saturday night. Buddy's Bat-A-Way,
Buddy's
right?
Bat-A-Way.
Yep. I spent more time at Buddy's Bat-A-Way than probably anything. Like all I used to do was hit. Like so God gave me a gift to swing the bat. I will tell you that. I can swing it, but man, I worked on it. I worked on it. I worked on my first step in center field. I worked on getting my crow hop right. Like the things that you have to be unbalanced to be great. And when it comes to life, I think there's 55-45 is balance for me. Okay, 60-40 is balance for me. If I'm trying to be great at something, it's more like 80-20, and it is the thing that will set you over the top. Because if you're not living it, breathing it, thinking about it all the time, like it's hard to be that good. So when you're trying to get it, it's all in.
And I've been teaching 23 years, right? And I'm a little unbalanced about the way I teach, right? I still go to professional conferences. I still get the English Journal, and it's teachers who publish, and I read what's the latest in teaching, the craft of teaching, the pedagogy. I'm still a little off balance. I still spend a lot of money on becoming a better teacher. Right. So I am unbalanced about that. And even 20 years, I don't know if I told you, right, but they told me I can retire in another 5 to 6. Mm-hmm. And well, if my daughter goes to USC, then it'll probably be more 8. But nonetheless, man, I want to be that unbalanced, still grinding, still, even in my last year, if this was my last year of retirement, I'd still be studying to be a great teacher.
Yeah, man. Yeah. It's what it takes, man. It's what it takes. It's what it takes. All right. So I wanted to get back to your powerlifting. Was there anything else that we missed about, how you train, how you get ready for a competition, anything that you'd want to talk about with powerlifting, or any kind of advice you'd want to give someone? Doesn't matter how old, whether they're, 20 years old, 53 years old, 55 years old, like any advice that you want to give somebody just, who's thinking about getting into powerlifting?
The first thing I would talk about is nutrition.
Yeah.
And, coach knows everything about nutrition if you want to talk to him about your macros and all that. But the oldest and truest advice I have been told that to this day, I try to practice to the best of my ability is, if you want to get in good shape, cook your own food.
Hell yeah.
Cook your own food. My youngest daughter, she's vegetarian / almost vegan.
Okay.
And my older daughter, she eats meat like me. So I do the cooking, but I cook very weightlifter-ish.
Got it.
Chicken, rice. And lately I've kind of stayed away from the beef.
Okay.
I just don't process it like I used to.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of chicken, fish.
Yeah.
And so my daughter goes, I don't want to eat like a freaking powerlifter anymore, So anyway, so cook your own food.
Yep.
Right? And that's just obvious, right? Because, you won't cook as much fat, the salt, sodium.
Yeah.
And guys at our age, we got to watch that sodium.
Absolutely.
Although I like chicken fried steak a lot. But, and then, when it comes to lifting, if you're just starting lifting, ladies and gentlemen, I would tell you, you got to hook up with a guy like him. Or you could even ask this guy. I know a little bit about lifting.
A little bit, yeah. A little bit.
And then the technique is everything. Don't be, it's taking me, now I've been really lifting a lot, like powerlifting for about 15 years now.
Okay.
And I didn't start at deadlifting 470.
Of course. Yeah.
And so, and I still, sometimes I'll send coach, how does my deadlift look? How does my squat look? And coach will go, man, that looked really solid. Or, I don't know, that second squat looked, I don't know if you got full, your butt dipped, right? So really work on that technique. And the technique before the weight should be your priority.
That's such a good point. Such a good point. Everyone wants to make an Instagram video of like how much they can lift and what they can do. And don't get me wrong, there's a time and a place for that. There really is. But man, like when you learn, I'm about the fundamentals. Anyone who comes to my gym will tell you that we go over the basics, fundamentals. That's the key. And then as you do that, then your strength improves. And so what you just said is so right. Make sure you get the technique down before you focus on the strength.
I would say that, and you don't have to own a home gym, but you got to go find a solid group. I will, out of sacred professionalism, I will not take the piss on corporate gyms.
Okay.
But you come down here and work out with coach, or there are a lot of I'm a big supporter of the mom and pop, like Valley CrossFit. I'm a big supporter of like the mom and pop neighborhood gyms, and that's where the experts are. And then there's all that BS about one certain place that talks about gym intimidation and everything.
Yeah.
I won't mention the place, but this is true.
You're diplomatic.
But, when you go, I worked out, like I told you, at Gold's for many years, and all those bodybuilders and powerlifters, they were just, don't be afraid to go up to that guy who you think he knows what he's doing, right? Mm-hmm. And go up to him. Guys like Oscar and all those guys back in my gym, they were happy to explain to me. They were happy to look at my deadlift, at my bench, tell me tips. Less is more, this, that, or the other, right? What do I believe? You want to get real swole? It's all about the compound lifts.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. So, yeah, those are all great points. And, when it comes to being at a gym and being intimidated, I think it's normal for people who have not lifted, who are not really deep into it. But you would be surprised that you go up to a guy in the gym and say, hey, man, can you help me with my shoulder press, or can you help me with my, whatever the case is. I think that you'd be surprised at how willing someone would be to actually help you. Now, there's a big difference in someone who walks around the gym trying to give advice. That's a different guy. Compared to if you go up to someone who looks like they know what they're doing, you've seen them and you see how they lift and you see that they know what they're doing. You go say, hey, I've been struggling with my deadlift. Can you help me? And next thing you know, like your gym friends and you're like he's explaining, or he or she is explaining to you. And so yeah, gym intimidation, 100%. But you'd be surprised at how many people would be willing to help you out.
Just let him finish the rep first.
Yeah.
Just let him finish the rep first.
Don't go in mid-set. That could end bad.
Yeah, so I would always say that. And you're never too old to start. And what Coach said, you don't have to be a powerlifter. You want to come in here and put the mitts on.
Yeah.
And box. And don't listen to societal norms. And I shouldn't say, I'd say 70-80% of what you see on social media about lifting is garbage.
I would agree with that.
But then if you've been lifting like as long as me and you have been, you'll say, okay, that dude's legit. He knows what he's talking and all that. So just be very careful of that. And that's it. And then find, okay, and it doesn't have to be the gym, and what Coach said, right? You just find something. So, this woman I see off and on, her big thing is she stays fit with, and man, she got abs, bro. And her whole thing is ballroom dancing.
Oh, no. Oh, okay. Yeah.
And so one day we went to the beach, and she had a little bikini on, and mind you, I'm 55, and so sometimes I'm into older women. So she's 60, but bro, she had legit abs. I mean, like the
cage
shit.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, and she's just like, and I go, you don't do crunches? And then she goes, it's just ballroom dancing. And she's been doing it for like 20 years.
Yeah. You just stay moving, man. Just stay moving. It doesn't matter what you choose. Choose something. Doesn't matter what you do. Do something. Go hiking, go boxing, power lift. I don't care what you want to do. Just do something. The older that we get, the more our bodies will attack us, and the more you have to fight back. Yeah? All right. Man, this hour and change went fast, man. Went really fast.
I'm going to go to that bagel place, man. Now all this talk about No. You know what I should go? What I should do, Coach, is on the way home stop and get some groceries, and go make myself something.
There you go. A little meal prepping.
Go make myself some gym pasta, some pasta with some. Make my own sauce, and then I cut up egg yolks in it.
There you go.
My daughter hates that.
Ramon, man, thank you for being on, man. This has been a great time.
Thank you for having me, sir. I'm honored, and if ever I miss this place. I want to come in. Like I said, Coach, I don't know about this boxing stuff. That shit ain't gonna get you swole.
No, but it gets your hands nice though.
But hey, by the way, there's some cute women that work out in your gym, bro.
There are. You should come to the gym sometime.
Yeah, you make an introduction.
Come to the gym sometime, man. All right, guys. Great episode. Thank you, Ramon, for being here.
All right.
And I will see you guys in the next video.